Jeez.
Yeah, you just heard me.
Dong.
It's like was that the Undertaker?
Yeah.
Bong, bong.
And he sits straight up.
That sound will probably end up getting cut out as I edit this.
Yeah.
With the background noise and stuff. So people are like, what are they talking about? What's this bong thing they're talking about? I accidentally hit the spring on our mic stand. So
yeah, and it made a bong sound. Like you're ringing
not the
a gong.
bong, like the gurgling, smoking bong sound, but the bong of a gong.
Yeah, like an Asian
gong.
Thimble, whatever you call them.
Cymbal.
Cymbals.
A thimble.
Oh, that's a little sewing thing, right?
On your finger.
Yeah.
You know, just stick that needle in your thumb.
That's all right.
Wonder how long it took.
Where the fuck did we go?
I don't know. It's just like, wonder how long it took to invent the thimble.
Yeah.
Like as needles kept.
How many people?
I love sewing. Well, not that they love sewing. They kind of had to fucking sew back then. But like kept jabbing themselves of how long it took before.
I want to know the progression of the thimble. Like what they use first. You know what I mean? Like a piece of
piece of rock or something like that.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I don't know.
Had to be either that or like a piece of cloth or something that they just put on the end of the.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had a bunch of hardcore bitches who didn't need the thumb.
I feel like this is. I can't Google this. I got too much on my plate to be researching thimbles. All I know is it's the thing that nobody wants to be in Monopoly.
Yes, that's true.
You stick me with the thimble,
I lose.
I'll stick you in the gut. No, there's no knife in the game of Monopoly. There should be.
Why? I don't know why there's a thimble, to be honest with you.
I don't even know I know there's a car. Everybody wants to be the car.
Or like the Monopoly guy.
I don't
Mr.
think
Monopoly.
that's a playing piece.
Oh, it's not?
No, he's just a picture on the board.
I have a playing piece of him. I have the football version of Monopoly.
Where you buy franchises?
Yes.
Is that how it is?
Yeah. But it's
Let me ask you.
It's pre-1999, so the Browns aren't on it. Yeah, it's cool.
Like, are the Bengals like one of the cheaper fucking places? Like, who? Like, I assume the Cowboys would be like Park Place.
The two top teams are the Broncos and the Packers because it was just the year after they won we went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
So those are the two top. And then I think like the worst ones. The Bengals are probably up there.
Well, they got to be one of those one of the first three spots where like you land on it and it's like $80.
The Jaguars are really cheap. I think they're like $1 or
they just gotten into the league.
Yeah,
at that
I think
point.
they're like $100 or something like that. Like you can pass go and buy them.
I was playing. This is weird, but when you get bored and you're looking for games to play on your phone or something like that.
Yeah,
I downloaded Monopoly.
Did it take you 9 hours to do?
No. It's rather quick.
Oh, okay.
I was dominant.
Nice.
Because I think that a lot of people don't know the strategy of like just keep buying.
Yeah, keep buying shit.
Everything you get on.
Yeah, buy it. Buy it. Yeah, because then they're going to pay you money. When they land on it.
Now, granted, if you go to jail, hey, that's cost doing business, baby.
It happens all the time, embezzlement and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good business strategy, Monopoly.
I think that was. I think we did that like. I don't even remember what class it was. It was like in junior high. It was like a long-term Monopoly game that took multiple days for that class.
Nice. Health?
And I don't even know what it was for.
Health?
I don't think so. I don't know why it would be.
Maybe they're just bored,
But it's not like we had like an economics class at the school we went to in 7th grade. I mean.
Well, we're at the point in the year at the end of school where we're trying to find movies that you can relate with the content that you're teaching still, just so you can have a couple days off. Trying to find a movie that has to do something with electricity and circuits. So
trying to think of the movies that you had to watch. I mean, one time in one class we watched Happy Gilmore.
Nice.
So I think that was just kind of like what you're talking about, end of the year kind of thing. But then there's some that you actually watch movies for the class.
Mm-hmm.
Of one of them, obviously in high school, but it was Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Watching that of like however long that movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we going to be watching this in class for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's kind of what it was. Like, you got 35 minutes.
When I was a sophomore, we did we talked about like the American history or whatever I took as a sophomore. Well, World War II is a big part of that.
Yeah.
In the lessons. So we watched The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Okay.
That took a week. And then for some odd reason, at the end of the year, we watched The Green Mile. And I have no idea how that correlated with what we were doing. Because it's not like we were just, arresting people in class or learning about that. I mean, we're killing mystical figures, but
I'm trying to think. Like, there wasn't a lot of movies, though, to be watched in school.
ma'am.
Like now, when you get like back in like middle school and stuff, you have to watch that stupid shit like Gone with the Wind and stuff like that. Old Yeller.
Yeah, that we watched.
Where the wet red fern grows, stuff like that.
Sophomore year, we watched.
I think that was a book.
Yeah,
there was a movie.
There is. Yes, you're correct. The one with Lenny.
Yeah, of Mice and Men.
Mice and Men. We watched that one like that because we read the book. Like when I was in school, like if the teacher had a sub, they just played a movie.
Yeah.
Now it sucks. Like when I have to have a sub, like I have to create like a lesson plan and everything. I'm like, just fucking tell the kids to watch a movie.
See, that's the weird thing because it's like the one guy that, well, you know him, that he worked for me at the other place. He was retired and just going back and he'd sub almost every day.
Yeah.
He's like, we do nothing anymore that they don't want you. It's just a study hall. Like you're just in there to make sure these kids don't get in a fist fight.
Pretty much.
Like,
yeah.
For $100 a day, that's not a bad gig.
No, it's not. It's not a bad gig at all. You can swing it, then do it.
I mean, for a retired guy,
yeah,
that ain't a bad gig.
No, it's not.
Now it's tough on me come fall time when my greens mowers
done.
Playing babysitter at the school instead of mowing these greens.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah, I got to do it now.
Yeah,
terrible. I did.
We don't have any listeners at this point in time.
I know.
Okay.
You think? What makes you think that we didn't pick up listeners with a thimble conversation? I mean, we were 48 seconds into the episode talking about fucking thimbles.
We haven't talked about one thing about sports yet.
Who gives a shit? What's going on?
I know.
The most exciting thing in sports I just showed you before we came on the air, and that was that fucking Padres fan knocking the shit out of that guy in the stands.
Yeah.
Who just stood there and ate it.
He did.
Like he couldn't see it coming. Unless if it comes out that the guy's blind, then I get it. But I felt like he was looking at him.
Like he could have saw.
Hey, this guy's walking a long way away. He must want to have a conversation. Maybe he'll be my friend. Nope.
No.
Came over here to knock you in your mouth for the nonsense you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I'd almost bet that it had to do with the guy not wearing a mask.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the times that we live in,
that's
what it was about.
Yeah.
And, hey, welcome back to the public.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the weekend, I didn't text you. I watched, I don't know if you watched it or not, that Jupiter's Legacy.
Friend watched it. He said it wasn't bad.
It's not bad.
Okay. That's what he said.
It's also not good.
I didn't think it would be good. Like, too many things now are just trying to come up with their own superhero thing.
I think they were trying to, in my first thing when I seen the trailer for it, I'm thinking, all right, Netflix is trying to do something like The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
They did not.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got to do the backstory while they're trying to do current times. There's so much bouncing back and forth, I can't keep straight who the fuck is who.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, if you read the synopsis of it, it's like the superheroes, but it's supposed to be a story about the kids.
Okay.
Because they have superpowers, too.
Gotcha.
I can't keep straight who's fucking kids who's this fucking guy. I mean, and then they're bouncing back 50 years or 100 years of like...
It didn't catch my eye well enough.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
If you're going to tell the backstory, you should have just made that the show of the first season.
Do a season
and now
2.
Let's do.
Yeah.
Why don't we establish that these people can actually do something?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I watched it. It'll get a second season because it's got big names in it.
Yeah.
And then it'll get canceled because it wasn't good enough to get renewed.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those ones where it's like, well, we talked about like the Mortal Kombat movie. Like they just made this movie to set up the next movie.
Yeah.
Well, this season was made just to set up the next season. I'm like, in the world we live in now, we just wrap it up in season 1, and if we get a season 2, we'll start anew. I mean, just kind of.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make a complete thing here.
Yeah. Those are the best seasons. Yeah. Those are the best ones. That kind of just, and then we'll have another story when it comes out of the second season.
You don't need to leave me on a cliffhanger.
No.
If I like the show, I'll be back when you're done.
Exactly.
That's the one thing. It was like, well, we got to leave them in a cliffhanger so they'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Nope.
If it's a good show,
I'll watch it again.
I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry.
No. Nope. The one, remember I told you about it's called 000 on Prime?
Yeah.
And I said there was a lot of like reading because it's not all in Spanish, but majority of it's in Spanish. I pressured through the first episode, and now I'm on episode 4, I think. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. I'm really glad that I, powered through it.
I feel like if I spoke more languages, I would enjoy Netflix more.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that lately.
Like, I've started learning some languages, but then I just kind of peter out after.
Yeah. After high.
I did some Italian, I did some Spanish.
Boopity boppity?
Boppity boopy. Boopity boppy.
That's Italian.
That's still one of my favorite of... One, the amount of times that Family Guy shits on Italians is
it's
amazing.
Crazy. It's crazy to me.
But that one where it was like cutting in line in front of Italians, they're like, hey,
yeah.
Hey, Copernicus.
Yeah.
You walk back to walk yourself to the back of the line with shoes and stand there with a shirt. I just love that line. Stand there with your shirt.
Stand there with your shirt.
But Jupiter's Landing, it'll be like when they make another season 6 years from now, because that's what Netflix does. It's like, hey, here's a show. Well, we didn't sign anybody long term, and we'll see.
I don't like Netflix was on a roll there for a little bit. They were producing some good shit. Like their season, like you know what I'm saying? Like their original shows were good, and then it's like now we hit our budget or whatever, and now we're just going to throw out garbage.
Well, I think they used to, like when it started out, they didn't have many original shows, but the ones they had, almost everything they had original was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at House of Cards, that was phenomenal. Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Good show. I enjoyed it. Whatever, a couple of their other shows they had.
Yeah.
But then as those got popular, they just went into this, well, we're going to spend $10 billion in the next 2 years on. Well, now you're just pumping out a bunch of shit.
That's all they're doing.
So you have content.
Yes, that's all they're doing.
You're not making anything good. You're just buying shit.
That's the problem that I have. It's like they just give everybody their show. You know what I mean? Like
they give us a show.
No, fuckers, they hate us. But it bugs me. Like, I mean, I want to watch something good. Like it used to be, like if you had Netflix, like it was like and now everybody has Netflix, so I get it. You got to produce more shit for your viewers, but it's why don't you just keep the shows and just keep making better new seasons with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I know not everybody likes the same shit that I like, but like, come on, Ozark's only getting one more season. You could continue to do this. I mean,
well, it's to the point where they can't pay him. They don't want to pay him.
I get it. I mean, Jason Bateman's fantastic.
Which it could be Jason Bateman going, hey man, because he's had such a resurgence in his career of like, hey, I got other shit to work on if you're just gonna Mickey Mouse around here.
Yep.
So I feel like that's when he would, because he directs and kind of produces and writes a lot of that show of like, hey, if you're just gonna pussyfoot around here, then
I'll take mine to HBO.
The fact of like, so you spent $10 billion, but then you were talking about not being able to make Mindhunters.
Yeah, exactly.
The third season of like
you produce all of these other
the show that people really enjoy. You're not going to do that.
So you give me all of these documentaries on the killers that they're talking about in that show, and everybody watches those. Like I finished The Sons of Sam. It was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I haven't watched it, but I feel like it's bullshit.
It was slow.
Well, I heard you only really need to watch the last episode.
You do. Yeah, I didn't need to watch any of the other stuff.
3 or whatever.
That's why it was slow, because I'm like, you could have just had 1 hour and a half movie and call it a movie. You don't have to call it a series. It didn't need to be.
So basically, is it a thought that there was more than he wasn't the only killer?
He wasn't the only killer, and
which is probably true.
Probably true. Then, like all of the bullshit that he claimed or spread or whatever, like it was all false. Like he just because I think he claimed like he was possessed or something like that. Like he was.
Yeah, that was like they covered that in the first season of Mindhunter.
Yes, they do.
And I actually was listening to that book again because I was on a fairway mower for 6 hours and I ran out of books to list, so I kind of flipped back through that one, and it just got to that point of where he's like, "Hey, cut the bullshit, man! There wasn't like you made that story up after you got arrested, so you could try to get the insanity thing." And everybody just bought it. So is this based on this guy?
Yes,
it's an occult thing of like, or he's just a shitty human that didn't like people and was a psychopath.
That's where this guy, because it's, I don't know, Rory or Maury or whoever was the journalist.
Some fucked up name.
Whoever was the journalist that all of this stuff is for, like all of his notes are pretty much this documentary. And it's kind of just, none of the insanity stuff's true, and there's more than one killer and all this stuff. And yeah, like the last episode's really you could have just gave me the hour and a half and told me the front story and then told me what that episode had.
Now, because the way I think, because I have a little knowledge on serial killers, my thought process, not even watching that, of did this guy kill some people?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Did he kill all the people that they're saying he killed? Probably not. Most don't.
Yeah.
But they'll cop to whatever, because at that point they're getting their numbers higher.
Exactly.
Sometimes they're just trying to close some cases here of like, hey, let's see what sticks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Could have been another guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just shooting people. It wasn't like, But when they talk about that of like, now I feel like you really need to, Wideside fans out there, if you like the Mindhunter show, you really need to listen to that book or read it if you like to read, but I like to listen. Just to listen to them talk about these guys of like, because after watching some of these documentaries and hearing the FBI guy talk about the interviews he had with him, it was like, oh yeah, all these documentaries are based off the bullshit that they're just telling the press.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this guy actually talked to him and like was able to get it like, yeah, that was all bullshit. I'm trying not to go to prison and I'm trying not to get the electric chair.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Try to go with the insanity plea. Then when they don't get it, I made all that up.
Yeah.
I like to kill people. That's kind of the story. So,
yeah, I just like to do it.
That's kind of what my thing is.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that after last week when we was talking about like the superhero thing, and I said something about like if the serial killer was like a superhero, he's just killing all the bad guys, and people were happy. I was thinking about like, had I seen something like that before? And there was of the Sandler movie, the Zohan movie.
Oh yeah.
The bad guy was like a famous terrorist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was world famous for being a terrorist. It's like, oh yeah, that has happened before.
Yeah.
Is that a tennis match or no? Hacky sack match.
Yeah. And then when we talking about like the Zach Galifianakis like keeps like fumbling up but killing these people or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that Dale Tucker versus Evil or whatever?
No.
It's kind of the same situation. Like these are like two like country rednecks, and these college kids are like camping in the woods. Well, they keep like dying accidentally, but it looks like these two guys are killing them. So now like they're all afraid of them and things like that. Like one guy like trips over his 2 feet and like falls on a log and like gets like, impaled or whatever it's called.
Impaled?
Impaled, yeah, I said the right word. Impaled by like this.
You used the language correctly.
Thank you. Impaled by this stick, and everybody thinks like, it looks like they pushed him. It looks like they pushed him into the stick and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, they already came up with that too. Kind of the same basis, but
yeah. Well, I mean, then there is that basis. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Yeah.
That is, if you haven't seen it, people, if you've not seen that, it's hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've not seen it, you have to see it. It's one of Bill Murray. It's personally Bill Murray's greatest movie in my mind.
Yeah.
And there's another listener on here that is listening to this is probably say the same thing. Because his favorite movie, too. One of his favorite movies, too. But, yeah, it's kind of that thing.
Yeah.
I love shit like that.
Yeah, it's
like,
funny in hell.
Eh.
Mm-hmm.
One, it plays off of, like, like you're talking about that show of, like, when you get accused of banging a chick that you didn't bang and you can't convince anybody that, hey, no, I didn't.
I didn't do it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say that, too.
No,
yeah.
I'm serious. I did not. Yeah, okay. Hey, wink, wink. I got you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'd tell you if I did. I did not. And nobody believes you. Sons of bitches.
Sons of bitches.
Well, we're almost 20 minutes in. Should we talk about sports or just keep talking bullshit because nothing's really happening?
We'll talk a little bit about sports, then more bullshit.
Okay.
So the big craze from last week to this week is the Tebow signing, obviously, for the 1 year deal with the Jaguars. What's going on?
My first address will be to the outrage of people pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Which did they finally sign him? I don't know that they actually had. They just kind of said they would.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually put pen to paper yet.
And everybody's free. Well, he's taking. He hadn't made the fucking team yet.
No.
Signing that contract doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's not saying he's going to be on the roster.
No.
I think everybody
instantly thinks
in
that.
the internet world thinks as soon as you sign a contract, it's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the NFL.
No, it is not.
And I think we talked last week of like the tight ends they have are fuck. Yeah. They got nothing.
They have no tight ends.
So,
yes. Yeah.
And the one thing is especially with an Urban Meyer, with where Tebow is he going to be the number one tight end? Probably not.
No.
He would make the team as the 2 or 3, which means you're playing special teams, pal.
Pretty much.
That's the world it is in the NFL.
Yep.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
No, and the only reason it's a big deal is because it's got Tim Tebow's name wrapped around it. That's the only reason people are making a big deal. They're not signing him to be fucking Lawrence's backup. They're not signing him to compete for this starting position. They're signing him to a 1 year, probably $1 million to $2 million contract, or vet min, because they can do that.
Yeah.
And if he makes the roster, he makes the roster. Like, I think, was it Gil Brandt was talking about it, or on his Twitter or whatever. He was like, he goes, they're opening up the stadiums. You're going to sell tickets to people to come see Tebow.
Yeah.
If he makes the roster, they're going to sell his jersey because everybody wants a Tebow jersey. Because he led the minor league in jersey sales,
especially in that town where he happens to be from.
Exactly. And hell, when he was with the Mets for 2 days, they sold his jersey. You know what I mean? So everybody wants that. You're going to buy tickets to go see it. You're filling up your stands. All this stuff, like you said, there's 90 people at the start of the season on your roster, and there's 53 at the end. So any one of those people can not make the team or make the team. It makes no difference in that way.
Yeah, nobody's clamoring about the other guys that are signed to the roster.
Yeah.
Heading into camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he's taken somebody else's job. Hadn't taken anybody's job yet.
Mm-hmm.
When they cut to 53, then you'll know.
Yes. And the biggest complaint that I've seen, and the one that I would, if there's a complaint that I agree with, was he can be a distraction with the media, because nobody's going to be talking about Trevor Lawrence. Nobody's going to be talking about, all your draft picks or all your new stuff. They're only going to be talking about, well, is Tebow going to make the team? Is Tebow going to be doing this? That is the only thing where I can say where, yeah, you have a point. It could be a distraction, have him on the team, but it is what it is. If he makes the roster, nobody's going to be talking about the third string tight end when it comes down to the season. That's pretty much that's my look on it. Now, you're still going to have some questions. Well, is Tebow ever going to play? That's your question towards the end. But then it's a no or a yes.
Do you care about the other? Does anybody even know the name of the last 5 guys on the roster? Because that's what we're talking about for Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll make the team after punters and kickers.
Yeah.
You don't know the names of any of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Name the backup tight end in fucking Jacksonville right now. Yeah. Name the starter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the outrage of he gets. The weird thing is, obviously, like, since Trevor Lawrence in high school, he's been the biggest name in football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as non-pro.
Mm-hmm.
And as popular as he is, as popular as Joe Burrow was the last year there at LSU, it ain't shit to what Tim Tebow was.
Oh, I know.
Not even close.
I know. I'm a Broncos fan.
And was bad at quarterback.
Very bad at quarterback.
Most famous college athlete of all time.
100%.
And it's not 100%. Even fucking close.
No.
And also might be one of the best humans.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to do anything wrong.
No.
He's not. It's
the hatred. Now, a lot of that's because ESPN jammed him down your throat for a decade.
Yes, and I agree with that as well.
I understand.
Yeah.
But it's, the guy, he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wants to make a try.
Let him try.
Okay, let him try.
Yeah. You see people retire and come back all the time.
He's taking a spot. No, he's not. The person whose spot he's taking right now was never going to make the team.
No.
Never.
And we don't know if he's going to make the team. He could be cut the first week of OTAs. Who knows?
I'm going to tell you what, like with all the shit and backlash, if he's making the team if he can play at all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like if he can chip, block, and end and catch a ball, he's going to make that team.
Mm-hmm.
And if he makes that team with all this shit that happened, kind of knowing that Urban Meyer thing, he's going to have 500 yards receiving.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Trevor, at least a couple times a game.
Get him the ball.
We need 20 yards.
Yeah.
20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen.
See, the only thing I don't like, and this is my direction where my head's at with him, is if he makes the team, I feel like they're going to try to Taysom Hill him. And you can't.
They can't because he's not Taysom Hill.
That's my point. That's where I'm at. In my head, that's where I think that we're going to, because he should have been Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill was
right.
What he's doing.
But he didn't want to.
He didn't want to. He wanted to play quarterback. He wasn't all for the, moving positions. Yeah. He should have been Taysom Hill. He should have created that spot before Taysom Hill got there. He's the perfect size, ability for all that shit. And that's what I feel like Jacksonville's going to try to do with him if he makes the team.
Now, I don't think... Now, they have some gadgety shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to see anything like that because he's not.
No, he's not. And
he's not fast enough.
No, and I'm 100% agreeing with you, but that's just where my head's at with what they're going to try and do.
But that's one of those things of, in the way the NFL works, of they put Tebow in motion and he stops in the backfield.
Yeah.
You got a plan for that now.
Mm-hmm.
I think McAfee and them said it yesterday when he was in New England.
Mm-hmm.
He was personal protector on the punt team.
Here's your fakes.
Says, hey, we got to practice for the fake. And he says, we practiced for the fake all week. Then they ran it, and he hit a pass for 30 yards on us still.
Yeah.
That's what the NFL is of, hey, I just need this guy. If he can make a couple catches and make a couple chip blocks, but then I can put him back there to make you have to waste time planning for it. That's the game.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people that are bitching and moaning are just like, they just don't like him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's a personal thing.
It's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking that they gave a shit about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nobody cares. No, I mean, if it can work out, it works out. I mean,
I think he'll make the team.
I don't think you sign him if you don't plan on
him making the team.
I don't think you waste this come up of whatever that you're getting if you don't plan on him probably making it. Or if you don't even have if you have the slightest doubt that he's not, you don't sign him because it's not worth your trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, ticket sales are a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's business.
Jersey sales, man.
And they ain't going to win many games.
No, they're not. No.
5,
mm-hmm.
maybe 6.
I think one of my favorite stats I saw was unless the Jaguars go undefeated, it'll be the first time that Trevor Lawrence has lost a regular season game in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went undefeated in high school in regular season. He went undefeated in college in the regular season.
He wasn't the starter when they lost that game, was he?
As a starter, no. Because they got beat by Notre Dame with the backup.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy, isn't it? That's a wild-ass stat.
I think A.J. McCarron had the same stat.
He probably did, but it's still a wild stat, but he wasn't going to start.
I think A.J. McCarron's stat was even crazier that he'd never lost a game.
He might have.
As a starter, because by the time he was starter at Alabama, I think they went undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's pretty good.
That is a pretty good stat there.
I mean, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Well, you're not really going to play, but.
Yeah.
Actually, he almost took him to a fucking playoff win.
Yeah.
And should have.
He was one that I didn't think
not Devontae's perfect thing happened.
He was one that I thought didn't get a fair chance. I thought he was going to be an okay pro. I really did. Because he had the style.
Especially, he finished the last 4 games of the regular season with Andy Dalton when he broke his thumb.
Yeah.
And had basically let a comeback win in the playoffs, and then it imploded on the defense. Mm-hmm. And then you just...
Yeah.
He's going to get traded to the Browns, but somehow the Browns failed to send the paperwork into the front office on time. And then it's like you never heard from him.
Yeah, I know.
He's never got another chance.
I know he was the Deshaun Watson's backup for a couple years, and then he was with the Raiders for a couple years, and I don't know what he does now.
Right, coaching somewhere.
Probably.
But, yeah, I mean, it's, he won games for the Bengals.
Yeah.
That should get you something.
Should.
I mean.
Yeah. He's the Falcons' backup.
Okay. So he could play.
I mean, Matty Ice.
Get dinged up.
Mm-hmm.
Put some ice on this.
Yeah. Shouldn't make me laugh like that. I don't did it.
And I don't know what it means. But everybody thought it meant something different. I guarantee you that.
Oh, shit.
Ice right here, Matty.
Ice up, son.
Yeah. Icy hot.
Oh my goodness! So there's nothing happening in the world of sports.
Nothing happening. They released the schedule.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
I mean, it just.
I haven't even seen them.
I mean, I looked at mine, but
it just.
I only look at the schedule because
May. I mean,
the only reason I look at the schedule is like, man, can I catch a game? That's the only like which ones are close.
Do they come nearby?
They do. They're in.
Indy?
They're in Cleveland. They're in Pittsburgh.
No.
Those would be the two closest. The Cleveland's a Thursday night game.
That's toughy.
In the middle of the season, in the middle of my season. So
yeah,
that's probably not the one.
Probably not going to happen.
Pittsburgh it's a Sunday afternoon, so that's probably
end up being a Sunday night game.
Probably if they get Rodgers, it'll be a Sunday night game. But it's the first time in 29 years where the Broncos don't have a Monday night football game. The longest streak ended.
No shit.
Yep. Now that all could change if whatever people are predicting.
Aren't they giving them some, or is that not this year that ESPN's getting some flex capability?
They are. That's this year.
Is it this year?
Yeah, they can switch some things and drop some things and move some things around.
Yeah, because I don't know how many primetime games the Packers are scheduled for, but if Rodgers ends up not being the quarterback,
I think 5.
Probably not going to get those.
Well, that's the thing. Like the Packers and the Chiefs are a Sunday night football game, and the first thing I saw on Twitter this morning was NBC has backup plan if Rodgers is in Denver because they play the Cowboys that same week.
Oh,
so it'll be Denver and Dallas on Sunday night football. I'm like, people, come on, quit jinxing it, man. For the record, I do not think it's actually going to happen.
I don't either. I think he's playing in Green Bay.
I do too. I do not think that he will be a Bronco. If he does, I don't know if I will not have an erection for a couple months. I would be pretty excited about that.
Huh. Never gotten erect for a football game.
You haven't?
No.
Never lived.
I have not. I have not.
That's what we're talking about.
Hey, we signed a quarterback. Don't mind this.
Avert your eyes, kids.
It is the other one, man. Like, because we talk NFL shit all the time. We don't. And then, like, as far as college football goes, of like the people that have a daily college football show, congratulations.
I know.
Because, like, with that kid transferring from Ohio State to Alabama, I could give a shit less.
Me too. I don't know.
He's leaving a stacked wide receiver room to go to another stacked wide receiver room. There's a corner transferring too. A DB that transferred too. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah. Defense in college football just doesn't fucking exist anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's college, but nothing really. Less things happen in college football in the offseason than the NFL.
Yeah,
so it's not like I can't.
I don't care. I mean, they're like, hey, this is early commit for the 2023 class. From this 15-year-old? I mean.
Yeah. You don't think he's not going to change his mind?
Yeah.
Have you ever been 15 before?
Everyone is like, well, he decommitted from, it's like, he's from this area and he committed to Wake Forest. Now he decommitted and for some reason is going to Alabama. It's like,
oh.
Yeah, because they fucking offered him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He got an offer from Wake Forest when he was a freshman. So.
I'm going to jump on that shit.
Yeah, Division I, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All these people's like, all the decommits we get. It's like, well, yeah, because you're a low-level college team that happens to be in a Power 5 conference.
Mm-hmm.
You're offering kids before the big boys come in to start choosing players.
Yeah.
And then you're shocked that they...
Yeah. Can't believe you decommitted from us. Can't you?
Can you?
Can you believe it?
How many games you won in your conference?
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's the one thing. Like, well, he plays in the SEC. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You happen to play for the team that couldn't compete in the MAC.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
You'd get fucking trounced by Toledo.
Yeah.
But you can clamor all that SEC shit you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, college football, man, it's tough to get into.
It's a dead month. It's just a dead
time.
period, yeah. And then you don't have your athletes come back till July or August or something like that.
Yeah. And you don't, it's like they put out like the front runners for the Heisman. Like, I don't even know who these people are.
I know.
I mean, it's usually, it's like, I think we said this a couple weeks ago of the fact that when the Heisman things came out, it was the one kid from Ohio State was like the fifth best odds.
Yeah, and hadn't taken a snap there.
Not even 100% sure he's going to be the starter.
Quarterback,
So
yeah.
it should have just said Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah.
That's all it needed to say.
Yeah, we don't know which one it is.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then they had that talk about like all the expansion, not plans, but options.
Yeah.
For expanded playoffs. And I love like they always talk to Nick Saban.
Yeah, I know.
Of like, well, I don't think we need to expand the playoffs. I don't, it's not going to, which I understand. That's what Nick should think. Don't make me win an extra game to end up in the same spot I'm going to be in anyway.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. How about you interview the people who are right on the bubble?
And when everybody says that, that's what they never think about. Like Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament where they put in 68 teams.
Yeah, 60. Yeah.
Boy, it seems like a lot of people like they just won the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to get their ass stomped.
Yeah.
But they got in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that like people don't, well, it's just going to end up being Bama and Clemson and Ohio State and then, Notre Dame or Georgia or somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But what about like if Coastal Carolina would have won out and got in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they couldn't win it. Yeah, but that's not the point.
They got in.
Yeah.
You
think they can't sell that?
You call it the college football playoffs, not the college football championship game.
They got in.
It's a big deal to be the top 4. Hell, it's a big deal to be the top 6.
If it was 6, and I think I was a proponent of that. If it's 16, I'm all good with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's too many games. It's going that way, folks.
Yep.
It's happening.
Yep.
They need to make up this revenue.
Everybody is wanting more money and more games produce that.
Just let more people into the dance.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have a chance to win. Who gives a shit?
Who cares?
You think Harvard has a chance to win the NCAA tournament when they get in?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that's the argument to start. Next year, we got to remember this. Mark this on your calendar.
Okay.
We need to start a Twitter campaign to get them to reduce the number of teams in the NCAA tournament and March Madness down to 12. Yeah. That's about how many teams maybe have a shot to win.
Mm-hmm.
Probably really 8.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's probably 6. So, 60 of the teams you're putting in don't have a fucking chance. Well, I like these guys that made a run. Did they win it?
Yeah.
No, they got to the Elite 8.
Yeah.
If you don't win the last game of the year, who gives a fuck?
Uh-huh.
So if we're saying it's not important unless you win, then you don't need to have all these teams in here.
Yep. I mean, I could imagine how fun if you just knocked off 2 non-conference games and you expanded the playoffs to 10 or 8 or even 16.
Yeah.
How much more fun that would be?
Yeah.
I mean, as a fan, how much more fun that would be.
Well, and that's what they talk about, and I'll just use Coastal Carolina because they were a team that was
hot last year.
Yeah, they didn't lose until the bowl game, right?
Yeah.
So they were undefeated in the season. So
no, they got beat by.
Did they get beat?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Or
no.
Even at this,
they beat BYU. Yes, they were undefeated.
Yeah. Even that Cincinnati be the better place. They should have beat Georgia in the bowl game, but they dicked it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati gets in. Are they going to win? No. I mean, they put up a fight against Georgia, but against Alabama, Ohio State, or whatever, they're getting beat.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that Cincinnati could get some better recruits for being in the tournament?
100%.
So they can start to close the gap.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to be Alabama?
No. They're never going to be Ohio State in their own
they
state.
Can get to a point on a one game, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
That's it.
On a one game, maybe.
We made the playoffs last year. That is a huge recruiting point for the, I don't even want to say lower level athletes because it's fantastic that UND won, but the people, they recruit Ohio hard. Cincinnati does. They do. Oh, we made the playoffs. It is a huge recruiting point for anybody. I mean, it is. And if you can say that you made the playoffs or you got in, then it's, I don't know why we don't do that. And it's just more football.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's
it's more of the better football.
Yeah. We don't have the 42-0 game. I mean, you may have that if you get a 16-1 or whatever, but.
And it is a weird thing to think about because I was and this has changed over the last couple years. I've started, I guess let's say football wise, I'm an Ohio State fan. over everything.
Mm-hmm.
But after Ohio State and whoever they're playing, I'm an NFL fan.
Yeah.
And it used to not be that way for me. I could watch any college football game, and I really wouldn't watch the NFL much.
Yeah.
Now it's like, the whatever DirecTV package or whatever.
Yeah.
I watch. That's all I do on Sundays. Watch football games, flip back and forth and everything. And then on Saturdays, it's like, if there's because there's such a lack of big games, and they're all blowouts. That if I watch Ohio State, and then I might piece a game or two of some other stuff. Of like, it's just some bad football. I mean, the gap's so big.
It is. It's huge.
In the fact of like Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas, not Texas. Whoa.
Easy. Back it up.
I just skipped back like 10 years and threw them in for some reason.
Back it up.
But if those teams aren't playing each other in the regular season, doesn't much matter.
No.
I mean, because
it's
chances are on the normal year that all those teams are going to get beat once, and it's just kind of a fuck up kind of deal.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, there's not a...
No, and then imagine taking two of those games that you don't give a fuck about and putting them into a playoff scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, as a country last year, we were all pissed off and all worried about not being to play at all. And at the same time, we're being upset that we're going to have more football.
Much.
We're getting too much now. Use your fucking heads, people. We want more. We want more football, guys.
And that's the other thing. And like, then you hit the arguments of like, well, what if Coastal Carolina gets in and then like Trevor Lawrence gets hurt playing them?
Who cares?
It's fucking football, baby.
Dude.
That's what happens.
The people who are like, well, we can't expand it. It's hard on their bodies. They could get hurt. It's hard on their bodies every freaking week.
Yeah.
In their 10 to 12 game schedule. It's hard on their bodies every week. You can get hurt walking to the fucking parking lot. How many people in the NFL get hurt non-pad injuries? Non-padded up. A lot of people do.
And it's usually the worst ones.
Yes. And so don't give me that. You have a chance to get hurt when you freaking work out.
Yeah.
In the off season. You know what I mean? It's so the talk about, they could get hurt. Yeah. It's hard on their bodies. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they signed up for this.
But that's another one. Like they use that. Well, if he gets hurt playing in that meaningless game, having to play that team, cost him millions of dollars. Well, then he shouldn't have been playing.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need to play last year, and he still would have been the first pick.
Exactly.
So that argument goes away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the people who love the basketball, you don't think that a basketball game is hard on those kids' bodies?
And you telling me 32 games is not too many?
Yeah, they play a 22-game regular season schedule plus your conference tournament. So that if you win it, that's an extra typically 3 to 5 games, depending on your conference.
In college, buddy, they pay more than 22. That's high school. They play 32.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So they play 32 regular season games. Then your conference tournament.
Or 30, somewhere
something
in there.
that Ryan. Then you play your conference tournament. Then you go into the big dance if you make it, if you're good enough. That's not too many games on those guys.
And nobody gives a shit about it.
No. Nobody cares. You're not talking about them getting hurt.
Nope.
No. So the bullshit line of all this getting hurt or it's not enough or it's too much is just, it's stupid.
And that's another thing too of like, I'm a big, the red shirt thing, the 4-game thing, that is what it is. Hey, see what you got. Let the kid get some reps. Okay. Postseason, take it away. If Clemson is playing Coastal Carolina, after the first quarter, they could literally have the third string in and keep widening the gap.
Yes.
Do that and not make them burn red shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't like the red shirt. The only time I feel like a red shirt would be needed is medical reasons, to be honest with you. That's, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you're hurt, if you get a terrible injury, then you red shirt.
Well, the red shirt is for the person that's actually getting a degree.
Yes.
Because for some reason, it went from 4 to 5 years is what it takes you for college now. And if that's the case, just give them 5 years eligibility then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because the guys going to the league aren't going to be there for 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Trevor Lawrence didn't need to be there for 3 years.
No.
He'd have been drafted top 5 after his freshman year.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's, and then, the people who are the same people are like, well, it means something to be in that top 4. It's the same meaning to be number 1 in a 16-team playoff than it is to be in the 1 in the 14 playoff. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. To be the 16th team is the exact same as being the 15th team. You're in. It's not a demotion on anybody.
And, I love like the talking heads on like the ESPNs and Fox and all that stuff. When they're like, well, if we move it to 8, we're just going to be talking about not the number 9 and number 10 teams, and maybe they should have been in. It's like, hey, that's what your business is.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you want to get it to a situation where there's only 4 and we know who the 4 are and we don't have to have a discussion about it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's
where we're at.
That would kind of lose some viewership for you, and maybe you ought to not hope for that.
I feel like that's where we're at now.
100%.
Everybody,
it's 3 teams.
Halfway through the season, you know who your 3 teams are.
Before the season, you kind of know who your 3 teams are.
But when they do their first poll or whatever, for some reason we don't have the college football poll all year.
Yeah,
that's stupid in itself.
But the preseason polls that they do put out, because they put them out every week, and they say they don't matter. But yet I hear, well, they got 10 top 10 wins. Like, yeah, but the polls didn't come out till like week 8.
Yeah,
there hadn't even been 10 weeks.
Yeah,
how'd they have those? Well, they're from the polls, and I thought they didn't matter.
Exactly.
Oh, they do matter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So for one, college football people, start your poll week 1. Don't wait till week fucking 6 to do it. Number 2 is have your criteria to that too. Let us know what the criteria is if we're going to expand it. Don't just say this and that and this and that. Have a criteria. I feel like if you have a 16-team playoff, you have to know what the criteria is. You just can't say, well, they have this many wins and the eye test.
What? Yeah. What the fuck is the eye test?
What is the eye test?
Of your 13 members, 2 of them are coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even know what football is. I mean, the Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
You can tell me what football? I mean,
what good football is.
How about one of these coaches that have to sit out of the room because you're talking about the conference that they're in? Well, I think this team looks better. What makes you able to do that?
Yeah.
We give you a paycheck and fly you to Dallas.
Yeah.
What are we doing? I'd be okay if they just kept it. Obviously, I want expansion, but let's just get the committee out. Just bring the BCS computers back in.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's the same.
Especially if you get to 8.
Yeah.
If you get to 16, bring the computers back in. We don't need this.
Yeah,
we don't need these
committee,
people.
No. And then what I finally remembered what I was going to say. I feel like we know who the 3 teams are halfway through the season when that poll comes out, because they don't change unless somebody drops 2.
Yeah.
We know who the top 3 are. So after that, your conversation's done. You talk about who should actually be number 1, who should be number 2. Now we're getting to the point where you're already arguing who is 4, 5, and 6, or who should be 4. So you already cut your conversation down.
Yeah, and your last half of the season, you're talking about matchups. Well, if this team gets to 3, then they have to play the 2, which would mean they wouldn't have to play Alabama, and Alabama would have to play Clemson. And we had like 5 more weeks of this.
I remember the first time one of the last times they put the poll out before the final selection Sunday or whatever it is. I don't know if they even had a discussion on the top 3 teams. It was number 4. Who's going to be number 4? And then you just talked about that.
Well, they made that whole thing of like, maybe they won't put Ohio State in because they only played 6 games. Like, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know if they deserve to be in. And then they freaking dog walk Clemson. And then everybody's just like they never said that Ohio State shouldn't be in. It's like, okay. There's 3 teams that have the most talent in college football. They're probably going to be in.
Most likely.
That's just the way it is.
Hell, they let Ohio State in the 1 year after not winning the conference.
Yeah.
Because it's Ohio State. They have the 3rd best people.
Yeah.
I mean, and all honesty.
That's the way it is.
And they got their ass stomped because they weren't very good. But you're not going to not put them in. You have the best viewership they have. Those Ohio State fans, because they're all fucking psychopaths, and they'll watch everything, and they travel well. Everybody wants to go to the game. You're not going to not have those guys in, unless they lose 3 games.
Well, hell, that 1 year they got the 2 years back to back where they got killed by non-ranked teams, they were still in the conversation of getting in because of who they are.
The year they fucking got butt fucked by Virginia Tech, they won the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I feel like it has to expand, because the conversation is dying.
Yeah.
You're not making it the glamour, the prestigious thing anymore when you have the same fucking 3 of the 4 teams in there every year. It's not prestigious anymore.
Well, because, I mean, the one thing because the only conference that can do it would be the SEC. And it would have to be like Clemson undefeated, Ohio State undefeated, like Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia leading into Alabama or Georgia and Auburn play each other every year.
I think so.
Yeah, let's see that. Then
Florida.
That wouldn't even work.
Florida would be in there.
Like if they were undefeated going into the Iron Bowl, like say Florida runs the table regular season, Alabama, Auburn both undefeated. Auburn beats Alabama, then beats Florida, or Florida beats Auburn, and say Florida and Auburn get in with Ohio State and Clemson, and Alabama sitting at 5. Now you're going to have now they're going to have that expansion conversation.
Yep.
But if all those teams, Florida's maybe on the uptick, and that's just saying that hopefully that Georgia doesn't start falling, because I feel like they got a tank coming. But unless there's like 3 teams in the SEC, nobody gives a shit, because the other conferences only have 1.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern was your second best team in the Big Ten last year.
Yeah,
you're not having that conversation.
No. And
Clemson is like North Carolina or Notre Dame, because they joined the conference last year.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about one of those 2 schools being the other school in that conference being any good.
Well, Notre Dame was only for the 1 year. They're going back to independent.
They're going back independent. So
basically, it's just like, does Oklahoma lose too many games? That's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole conversation.
And does Notre Dame go undefeated?
Yep.
Because those are your 2.
That's your only option.
So expand it so we can talk more about shit, and we can have more teams in it.
So if the powerhouses of the SEC aren't being powerhouses, because after Joe Burrow's gone, LSU sucks.
Yeah.
Florida, they're on the come up, but they're probably not going to be any good. And Georgia looks like they're going to take a step back.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, they talk all the shit they want, but they're just not good at football.
No.
If those powerhouses in the SEC don't get back up there, it just, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And are you going to beat Alabama, or do we have to wait till Nick Saban quits?
We have to wait till Nick Saban quits.
I mean, that'd be the toughest thing for him, because he feels like a guy that would want to leave somebody in charge to keep the shit going, but it's tough because he only gets guys for like 1 year.
Yeah, I know.
And they're back to the NFL, or
they're back to another, like, how many? I just want to know how many coaches have been fired or non-renewed, went with him for a year or 2, and then got another job somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, off the top of my head, I can think of 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right off the top of my head, without even doing any research, I can think of 4. And it's absolutely, this is what he does. So for him to leave would be just wild. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, the rotation of
it's just
coaches,
quick.
coordinators, anything, I can't, it's hard to convince somebody to not go take the head job somewhere.
Well, and that's if Urban didn't leave when he left, that was the last year you're going to have Ryan Day, because he was getting another coaching job. That was just the way it was. But like the whole Alabama thing of Nick's like, he's like 70, isn't he? 69, 70?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's not, depending on how long he does it. He might be a guy that does it till he dies. So.
He could be a Paterno.
But the thing with Alabama is, when they lose a game next season, you know what it's going to be. It's not going to matter, because the team it's going to be like Lane Kiffin's going to come in and beat them, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Hey, we got beat on the road to, I don't know where they play, but hey, we lost a shootout and they ran some gimmicky play and beat us at the buzzer. Okay. Yeah. Well, they ended up 6-6, so they're not going anywhere. They can't even make the. So it's like.
Yeah, I don't like the.
Because for some reason he was on a string there where he only lost to Mississippi teams.
I know. Yeah, it was either Mississippi State or Ole Miss or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for college football to be great again, obviously we've always talked that there's just certain teams that have to be good to make college football what it used to be, and then you just got to expand it.
Yeah.
You do. You have to, just to make it better. Because it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't cripple your name. It makes it better. It's more football. Like I said, the only people who watch college basketball are the people who watch the tournament. I don't really watch that many regular season games, but I love watching the tournament.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen.
Yep.
People watch college football, NFL football religiously. What's the NFL doing? They're giving you another regular season game, and they're expanding their playoff.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because listening to the directors and stuff talk from the not the NCAA, but the college presidents or the tournament committee.
Yeah.
This is a slow moving thing. Probably we're looking at 2026 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you realize like you're nothing compared to the NFL. And in less than an off season, they added another game.
Yeah.
And last year they added another round or playoff game.
Yeah. In the middle of last year.
Awesome.
It was fantastic.
That might have been the greatest day of football of like, oh, you mean I get extra games of these this weekend?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I get 3 playoff games.
They took a bye away from a team.
Yeah.
Hey, you used to have 2 byes. Nope, just 1 now. Tough shit.
Yeah. It's fantastic. So you're watching the greatest company expand theirs. You should probably be taking a fucking note or two on how they did it and make yourself better. Because you don't hear anybody bitching because the players agreed to it. They had to agree to it.
Yep.
So their union agreed to it. You don't hear anybody else bitching about that extra game. Yeah, a couple of the people because of all the injuries and money,
because it's another.
But they're getting another paycheck.
Well, it's weird how they got fucked on the paycheck.
They did, but it's still
it's 1/17
of your salary.
Mm-hmm. Like my salary is based on 16 games when I signed it. Why don't I get another? So I get 16 game checks, and then the 17th game, I get a little bit less.
Yeah.
Than what my normal game. Why don't I just get another game check?
Yeah. But they agreed to it.
Hey.
So that's my point on it. I mean, say what people boo Roger Goodell. I think he's the best fucking commissioner
100%
in pro sports right now.
100%.
Everybody wants to talk about the NBA. The NBA now, nobody tells them no.
No.
Nobody tells them no that they're not doing this and all this stuff. They don't have a fucking cap. You can sign whoever the hell you want. You have 3 teams that are going to compete against each other. Other than that, it's all bullshit. I don't know about fucking hockey. Baseball's a fucking mess. Soccer would be the only one that might compare with it. I don't know. Well,
they just had a whole fucking boycott over there about trying to start a super league.
Exactly. The only thing that you have when Roger Goodell was the whole concussion thing. That is the only
and that was nothing.
No.
It was a movie.
Yes. And people fucking forgot about it the next year.
Yeah.
So
you had the concussion thing. You had the Kaepernick thing.
That's it.
That's it. And everybody keeps saying, oh, the NFL's dying after that. They're losing ratings. Like, well, it's like $100 billion media rights.
Yeah.
Seems like they're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
They open those stadiums up. They're going to be full except for Jacksonville. But if they sign Tebow and get him into the field.
Yeah. I tell you what, one empty fucking stadium this year has to be in fucking Houston.
Oh, my God.
If Deshaun doesn't play or can't play.
Well, that was that. Did you see that report that I think it was Rich Eisen? That whoever he's talking to or whatever, because it's gotten quiet on the Watson front.
Yeah.
And that it was leaking out that like the settlements may be coming or whatever. Like, which was, I think everybody knew that's how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still that, and it's like people were acting like they'd be shocked that teams would still want to trade for him. It's like, fuck John Watson.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean,
you don't want that?
You don't want to see the rap sheet of some of these guys in the NFL. It's just you don't know their names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I think at the end of the day, it's still, well, how long does he get suspended for?
Yeah.
Because he's getting suspended.
100%.
There's no way that...
It's the minimum of 4 games.
He's too much of a name.
Yep.
And it was too public. Mm-hmm. And obviously it was sexual misconduct type stuff.
Yes.
He's getting suspended.
And that's what it's a minimum automatically of 4 games. I think that's kind of the standard now of anything. Minimum is 4 games. So I think we all know that it's at least going to be 4. It could be 6. It could be half the season.
Yeah.
We don't know. but I think at least 4 would be the number that I would guess.
Or it's the commissioner's list, and then we'll see how people react. And if they feel okay after 5, we'll do 5.
I feel like 4 is a good start if everything settles.
Yeah.
If everything settles,
I mean, if he settles everything, that doesn't give you an answer. You don't know if he did anything or not, because people, well, if he settled, he's guilty. No, he's got a shit ton of money. Maybe he just wanted it to go away. You don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently he was touching girls with his penis, thrusting it at them.
Yes.
I don't, unless, like we talked about it before, it has to be massively big for you not to be able to avoid that.
Yeah.
Unless he pinned you down.
Yeah.
Which could have happened. I don't know.
It did not come out.
I was not there.
No.
Did not feel like you would have heard that.
Yes, I feel like
that he physically held me down and put his penis on my forehead.
Yeah. It's illegal to do mushroom stance unwanted, so.
Yeah. What?
The mushroom stamp. You ever heard that before?
No.
Yeah. You smush your wiener on the top of a forehead.
Oh.
There you go.
Mushroom stamps.
Yeah.
So I was thinking more of like he put his testicles on her forehead.
Like a bat wing kind of thing?
And his mushroom tip, it's probably somewhere in her mid-chest area.
It's weird. I got that image in my head, and it was draped over the top of her head. That's like an elephant trunk.
I had her laying on the massage bench.
Oh, okay.
Or table. I guess you'd call it a table instead of a bench.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if they brought it, but why does it have a back on it?
Yeah.
Well, that's all I can afford. I got it at the park.
Yeah.
Heavy as shit.
I hate traveling with it. Yeah, it's...
But I still don't think he'll be traded because I don't think the values that even if I didn't think Texas wanted to trade him in the first place and weren't going to trade him.
Yeah.
I was very adamant that they would not trade him.
Yes.
Now with all this shit and stuff like that, maybe they do. But I think his values trade wise has went down some. I mean, because you can't.
I think they should trade him.
I feel like it'd be a tough. Like you'd be happy to have him in Denver. But I feel like the people in Denver, like the backlash they would get if they sent like 4 first-round picks for a guy that's still under investigation. I mean,
no, 100%. Unless he's yes, it would be bad. The only reason I feel like the Houston should trade him now, I just look back at this past year's draft. You had 3 draft picks, and your first draft pick was in the 4th round.
Yeah,
you need some kind of capital.
Yeah,
you need something.
And they're in a bad cap spot too.
They are.
I mean,
you couldn't trade
sign guys.
You couldn't trade J.J. Watt for a 4th round pick.
No,
you had to cut him.
Yeah, you knew they were going to cut him.
Yes, like that's the worst part.
I love that one.
You didn't trade. You didn't
like when people come out and go, they cut him. Why didn't they trade him for something? It's like, do you think the GMs don't know the contracts that he had $0 fucking guaranteed and they couldn't afford to pay him $17 million? And that if they cut him, it cost them $0?
Yeah.
You think we're going to fucking trade for that?
Yeah, exactly.
When I could get him for 15?
Yeah.
There was, he signed for $15 million. Yeah, it's $2 million saving and they didn't have to give up a pick. So.
They didn't trade DeAndre Hopkins for a 1st round pick.
2nd and a 4th.
Yep.
That's why when we talked about the whole for the Julio thing and you were saying how many 1st round picks, it was like fucking 0. There's 0 1st round picks for Julio Jones. It's a 2nd round pick at best.
Stephon Diggs got a 1st rounder.
Yeah, Buffalo was strapped though. They
needed that for sure. And it was worth it. That's one of the ones where you're picking late anyway.
That's what made made him better at quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, he can't throw the deep ball. Well, you ever think there wasn't a fucking guy that could run fast enough and catch it?
The fucking guy has a cannon.
Yeah. They got one.
Yeah.
And shockingly, he was pretty good at it.
It worked.
That kind of went dead, too, the whole Julio talk.
Well, it's not June 1st.
Doesn't matter.
They would have to I know, but you would have to trade him after June 1st. There's no reason to report
you
on
trade
anything.
Him now. They just designate it.
You can, but still.
The June 1st thing is such... I think everything in the NFL is so fucking fake. That contract means jack shit. Voidable years. Hey, we traded him now. Well, the coach getting him can't talk about him because technically it's not going to happen for another month.
Yeah.
But it's already done. But we have to act like it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, because we're in a dead period, but we can still trade during a dead period.
We can trade. It was
just
like
can't talk to the guy.
Like when Dan Campbell went on McAfee's show 3 weeks after the trade. for
Goff.
And he's not allowed to talk about it because technically it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Of like, come on. I mean, like, you guys approved it.
Yeah, exactly.
In the office.
In the office.
This guy's going to get in trouble for talking about a player that's going to be on his team.
Yeah.
It's going to be a starting quarterback. It's already been approved.
Yeah. Stupid.
But where are we at with... That's the other one. That was a big talk on... Like, Atlanta didn't have enough money to sign their draft picks.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Beats me. Voidable contract. I mean...
Sign all your rookies voidable contracts.
Yeah. We're going to pay you next year.
Yeah. Getting an IOU this year. If you make the team next year, you get nothing.
$275,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to that one. Your top 4 tight end is taking an IOU.
That was the other thing, too, of like all the... How many... We should have... Man, if we would do some research, we might be an okay show.
You're right.
I mean, we're a bad show now.
Mm-hmm. We would be decent.
I don't even... maybe just okay.
Just okay.
Decent's getting a little
up there.
But I think because we've talked about it before, maybe a couple of weeks ago, but like all the people that opted out in New England, how many of them aren't on the team anymore?
I know. I wanted to
and
know
I
that.
never looked that up.
I didn't look that up either.
I don't think they're not bringing Hernandez back.
I don't think they can.
If they did, then Bill Belichick is
God. Yeah.
But it's just it's still my favorite thing. You can opt out. It will not be held against you. Bullshit.
Yep.
Played a full season. You chose not to.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a future Hall of Famer? You have zero chance of making this team.
Yeah.
It's going to cost us money to cut you. You're getting cut.
Yep. Devontae Hightower is the only one coming back.
Yeah. Well,
I have
nothing else.
Nothing else I want to say.
I didn't catch up on that Mayor of Easttown yet, or Eastwick.
I watched it.
Easttown?
Eastwick. They're not witches.
Is that what that is?
I think.
I don't even know that I've seen that.
I mean, it's not a show.
Is it?
Eastwick, I think, has something to do with witches.
Does it?
I don't know. Just sounded like it.
And it does.
Eastwick.
Easttown, then?
Easttown.
That's what it's called?
Mayor of Easttown.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Mayor spelled like a horse, not like the actual mayor.
Mayor.
You're being confusing, HBO.
You and
Says she's a mayor, but she's a detective? Come on.
Stupid homophones.
Or NIMS.
Homonyms? It's not a thing.
Homophone? What's a homonym?
That's not a thing.
Is it not?
No, you're thinking of synonym.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't know. Fucking Google that shit. Homonym? I feel like that should mean something.
I feel like it's like a nasty vegetable.
Could be. Maybe it's like a homosexual nympho.
Yeah. Homonym is a thing. Same spelling, different pronunciation. So it's not the same
So it's
thing.
exactly what it was?
Yeah, sure.
Homonym. So I was,
there you go. You were right.
So I was.
Yeah.
So you were.
I was wrong. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you're trying to make me fucking feel bad. And I was correct.
You were correct. Sorry, homonym.
What did you say?
Homophone.
Homophone?
Yeah.
You weren't thinking homophobe?
No, homophone. It's the same spelling, different pronunciation.
I feel like in that town there might be some of those.
It's the same spelling, different pronunciation.
East Town, East Wick place.
Yeah.
Feel like that might be a
Eastwick.
backwoodsy.
Yeah.
It's got witches everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be backwoodsy. Why are all those witch shows in like small towns? How come it's like never New York City where there's a bunch of fucking witches?
Yeah.
Just Nicolas Cage when he was a sorcerer. Why are they sorcerer? Why are you not a witch?
Yeah.
Why it's got to be a female thing?
I don't know.
Why can't a male grow up to be a witch?
They can.
Got to stop putting them down. There is no glass ceiling for us. That's probably a hard stance to take.
Yeah.
Off the fucking rails.
Yes, we are.
come on, sports
I know,
other than basketball and baseball.
Come on, football season.
But the crowd fights are good.
Yes, they are.
That guy got knocked the fuck out.
If you haven't seen the video, look at the Padres guy knock the fuck out of the guy.
Padres fan. I don't even know what to call the video. Padres fan connects with a right hook. Couldn't have. Very reminiscent of the straight right from Kamaru Usman.
Yes.
To Jorge Masvidal.
Very.
There we go. Light heavyweight.
Oh, you got something? You got something to talk about now?
Lightweight division championship is up this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira.
Gotcha.
I think I put my money on Michael Chandler, even though Oliveira is very good. I just don't know a lot about him.
Okay.
He's fought on pay-per-views that I'm not paying for.
Gotcha.
He's yet to be on one with the guy that I
would pay
am
for.
willing to pay for.
Yeah.
I'm also not willing to pay for this fight. I'll just
catch it on Twitter.
I'll just catch it tomorrow on Twitter or the next day on Twitter.
Yes.
But because that'll say whoever wins that fight's going to fight whoever wins Poirier McGregor. So then that could be
gotcha.
A huge fight if it's Conor McGregor, which I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that news in June when that fight happens.
Sweet.
We'll do a countdown clock and everything for the next fucking month and a half. Or July, whenever that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because nothing else is happening.
Nothing.
The NBA sucks.
Yeah. They're getting ready to go in their playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Because the Knicks made the playoffs.
I didn't even know the playoff.
That's a
heading
new thing.
into work. They were described. It was like a play-in game. Like LeBron was going to have to play Steph, but if LeBron beats Steph, he's in, and then Steph would have to play the next team behind him. And if they beat them, they're in. But that team has to beat them twice to get in. Like, well, that's fucked up.
Yeah, super fucked up.
I mean, I understand that they're just trying to get more teams involved.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it would maybe just have a regular. The most successful league on the planet has a hard salary cap.
Yeah.
Minimum and maximum.
Yes.
And their draft is designed for the worst team to get the first pick.
Yep.
Everything is designed for the teams to go 500.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd have a more competitive league.
Yes, you would.
But you're never going to do that. And we're just going to end up with a couple all-star teams and nobody else cares about other shit.
Pretty much.
Because we sell players, not teams in that league.
Yes, sir.
And that's the way it goes.
Yes,
and that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so. I think he was talking a lot of basketball on his podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get out of here.
Wideside!